Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a good, few days. It's been a few days since I've been on. Nothing major, or anything, just that time of year. Uh, Work's busy, and then after work you're busy. The holidays. It's going to be that way for the next couple weeks anyway. So you may not get a lot of videos, and you may get a bunch of videos. Just depends on the time I have. As I said, I don't do this for a living. Don't know if I'd want to, but this time of year videos are usually, you know, a little less than normal, and that's to be expected. It's not like I didn't expect it every year. It comes every year, eh? But that was Canadian. It comes every year, eh? Read a book the same time, eh? Take off, Hoser. uh, yeah, so let's get into this video. I got thinking about it. It's funny, actually. What happened was I was going through YouTube the other day, laying in bed because I was exhausted, just playing YouTube, and a bunch of half a dozen new top 10 or top this or greatest compliment getting fragrances. Oh, we're doing this again. Uh, I got me thinking. They're all talking about. Most of them are talking about fragrances that are compliment getting fragrances for some people. Your Tom Ford Noir Extremes, your Comras, your Tom Ford Oud, your Oud, basically Oud anything. Well, a lot of them will get you compliments. I get thinking they're not. How do I say? I don't want to say universal because nothing's universal. Nothing's 100%. But those compliments come from mostly people who like fragrances. You know what I mean? That are into fragrances. Not that Tom Ford Oud would stinks or anything by any stretch of the word. It's a beautiful fragrance. Uh, it's just it's not something that's going to get you the same kind of attention from what I would say the vast majority of people. Um, so these are going to be 10 compliment getting fragrances that are pretty much universal, uh, extremely extreme compliment getting. If that's what you're looking for, these 10. If you don't care about smelling somewhat unique, somewhat different, maybe a little avant-garde even, these are, a lot of people would say basic fragrances really. But that's the thing about these fragrances. You're going to notice a lot of them are relatively newer releases, the last 10 years or so. And they're all kind of either aquatic or fresh or sweet, aromatic. You know what I'm talking about, right? They seem to be the ones that most people will get. And by compliments too, a lot of these aren't going to get you like, oh my God, you smell delicious, blah, blah, blah. That's where compliments from stuff like Comra coming, you know what I mean? Or sweet gourmands, the mall elixir and things like that. They're gonna these are gonna be more like people like, oh, I like what you're wearing, hey, I love you smell good. Or if you're a younger guy, teenage girl, just, oh, my boyfriend smells awesome, like, stuff like that. So these are gonna get you compliments from pretty much 99% of the population out there. Now, I know someone's going, no, this never works for me. This is garbage. That's fine. But I'm telling you, you're the 1% it doesn't work for. Because for the 99%, these are going to. So there's nothing in this list either that's groundbreaking or, you're going to see a lot of the same ones that are compliment getting fragrances. But I wanted to put it out there for somebody who's kind of maybe just starting out or just a young fella, or not necessarily a young fella, but usually a young fella just starting out, and all they want is good compliment getting fragrance, something they're going to smell good at the high school dance or college or out at the pub, at the bar, or the nightclub. They're going to smell good, and it's going to get some positive attention, right? So yeah, so let's just get right into it. Again, don't expect any weird or off the wall kind of fragrances. You guys all know what these are coming. You're going to know. You probably can name at least half of them before I even get to them. But let's start. And this is in no order. This isn't best or worst. It's just the way I grabbed them off my shelf and wrote them down here. So, Explorer, Mont Blanc Explorer, Citrus and Brox and Pink Pepper Vetiver Leather, Designer of Venice, fresh, bright, citrus, fruity, woody fragrance. Um, you know, it's easily the best way, even better than Club de Nuit, in my opinion, to get that Aventus vibe without spending Aventus money. And it's easily accessible too. A Club de Nuit isn't that easily accessible for a lot of people. You got to remember, people live in like big cities like New York and Montreal and stuff like that. You can walk in somewhere and buy Club de Nuit. 90% of the population of the world have to get it online. So most people can just walk into a department store and pick up. And that's it, guys. No big reviews or anything. Performance, pretty good on it. Couple hours projection, 4 hours bubble, couple hours skin scent. Not a bad fragrance at all. Will get you the compliments you're looking for. 100%. Next is going to be Jimmy Choo Man. Pineapple, citrus, melon, leather, sparkly, sweet, aromatic opening with a nice, light musk and leather dry down. Performance isn't the greatest, but it is cheap. So, you get about an hour's projection, couple hours, sillage, bubble, and about an hour to skin scent. Does get compared to fragrances like Bleu de Chanel, Coach for Men. So you know what type of fragrance it is. Like I said, sweet, fresh, aromatic type of fragrance. Jimmy Choo Man. Sticking with the Jimmy Choo line, and I've got a couple here. So let's go right with Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Citron, bergamot, orange, apple. It's a citrus bomb, honestly. Sweet, fresh, juicy citrus with a bit of apple. Again, on a base of white musk, clean and refreshing. Very refreshing. Some people say iced lemonade. I get that. It's compared to the Orome Cologne. The big knock on this is the performance, though. I've got to get a bigger bottle. I'm halfway through this bottle, and I've only worn it a few times because of the amount you have to apply. You get about a half-hour projection, maybe a little more. Nothing beast either. About an hour and a half. It's a slight bubble with a very weak trail. And for about an hour, it's a skin scent. But still, it smells so damn nice. Just go heavy. Go heavy. Again, last one, but sticking with Jimmy Choo. Jimmy Choo's had some really under-the-radar compliment getters. And this is one most people trashed at first, but even I did. And I've worn it a few times, and I smelled it on my nephew one time, really in the air. This is really damn good. And that's Jimmy Choo Urban Hero. Leather and ambroxan, pepper, lime, spicy, sweet leather scent. Very aromatic, smells great in the air, like I said. It's just a compliment getting slightly sweet leather fragrance. It's just actually really nice. Surprised the hell out of me when, I've worn it a couple times and it started growing me. Then, like I said, he put it on that day and it was just in the air. It was like, wow, man, that just smells really good. Performance, not too bad on this one. You get a couple hours solid projection, a couple hours of a bubble sillage, and a couple hours in skin scent. So not bad. I'm getting a bigger bottle of this too because I actually really do enjoy that one, surprisingly. All right, well, let's leave the house of Jimmy Choo because that's enough for him. Let's go to the house of Bulgari. And I'm going to pick, you can pick pretty much any of the Bulgari Aqua line. I went with Atlantique. Every time I wear this, somebody tells me it smells good. And I'm not even the biggest fan of it. It does have a bit of that Bulgari Aqua funky, salty kind of vibe that I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, sea notes, water notes, ambroxan, citrus, apple. A very salty, very fresh, slightly sweet aquatic. It's got that ambroxan in it that gives it a bit of that metallic kind of feel. Some people have said this is kind of like an aquatic version of Sauvage. Yeah, kind of, but it's its own thing, 100%. Performance not too bad. You get about an hour and a half projection, about 3 hours of sillage and a couple hours on the skin. But it's not a bad fragrance at all. If you're looking for straight compliments, again, any of the Bulgari Aqua line, but that one just seems a little more modern, especially for a younger man than the other ones that I've smelled. I haven't smelled Amara yet, so that could be even better. We're going to go with probably, if not the most obvious one on this list, the second most obvious one. I think I'll save the most obvious one for last. But let's go right now with this one. That's Dior Sauvage. I know, haters, bitch mode, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Screw you, I love it still. Oh my God, do I love this stuff. I mean, what can I say about Sauvage that hasn't been said? I know it's a lot of people basic bitch and overplayed. I don't care. I don't care. It still works for me. It's always worked for me, and it's always worked for 99% of the population out there. It's Sauvage. Number one selling men's fragrance in the world for a reason, right? Because it ain't like it's cheap. It's not like it's... Everybody knows it. Everybody likes it. All the men have figured out that all the women like it, and that's why it sells so well. And Broxton, citrus, pepper, lavender. You know, it's a loud, aggressive, slightly metallic, but fresh, long-lasting scent at the same time. You know, the first hour of projection is easily beast mode. Then you get a couple hours of solid projection. Then it's a nice skin scent for about 4 hours, and then, or not skin scent. Gives you a nice sillage bubble for about 4 hours, and then it's a really nice skin scent for a couple hours. Then it's a close skin scent for about an hour. Time to reapply. Yeah, citrus, peppery, right off the top. Clean, fresh lavender in the mid. On top of a fresh, metallic, clean ambroxan base. Beautiful scent. I don't care what anyone says. I've liked it since day one, and I like it. So I ain't around anymore, because I'm sure it's going to outlast me. Another obvious one, but, you know, it is what it is. It's Nautica Voyage. Cheap. Everybody's go-to cheapie when they first start seems to be Nautica Voyage, because it's just simple and good, honestly. It really is. Green notes, apple, lotus, white musk. Green, slightly sweet apple, watery lotus on a clean, fresh, again, white musk base. You're going to notice a lot of white musk because it works with everything, basically. And it's clean and fresh, and that's kind of what works. You know, a couple hours projection, you know, 3 hours of a sillage, and, you know, an hour skin scent. Just a fresh, clean, slightly sweet, aquatic fragrance. Does what it does and doesn't try to be anything else. And that's really good too, honestly, especially for the price. Pick it up for about 20, 30 bucks. My goodness. My newest acquisition and pretty much becoming one of my favorite fragrances of the year, if not my favorite fragrance of the year, and that's Polo 67. And it shouldn't be. Everything says it shouldn't be. But there's just something about it that I really like, and you guys really got to try this one. Pineapple, citrus, sage, juniper, vetiver. You know, fresh, sweet, juicy pineapple citrus combo right off the top. Some aromatic sage and juniper in the mid on a light, woody vetiver base. Yeah, great fragrance. Smells, got a hit to that Polo class too, like I always say with Polo. Most fragrances have something, je ne sais quoi about them with Polo, and this is no exception. About an hour and a half projection, 3 hours, 4 hours of a bubble, about an hour of skin scent. Again, probably, if not my favorite, one of my favorite sweet, fresh, aromatic, modern, masculine fragrances. And I'm not a big fan of that genre. You guys know that. But yeah, just good. Just good. Just try it, please. Just try it. Now, out of all these, I really don't like this next one a lot. But again, I got to give the devil his due. And I do respect it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And that's 1 Million Lucky. For the longest time, this was discontinued, and people were starting to pay a hefty price for it until it popped up all over the place again. So, but if you do like it, or if you want it, I would recommend getting it, because eventually it is Paco Rabanne. It will be discontinued and hard to find, probably within the next couple of years. So you better get it now. But yeah, 1 Million Lucky. Plum, honey, ozonic notes, cedar, hazelnut, vetiver. Fresh, but with a bit of a heavy, darker side to it. Just a hint of plum and honey and ozonic notes right off the top into a slight earthy, kind of hazelnutty, slightly peppery cedar combo. Again, on a base of woods, patchouli, and vetiver. Like I said, not my favorite fragrance here, but I respect the mix of fresh and dark notes. You know, something different. It never goes too fresh, but it never goes too heavy either. It kind of plays that middle ground. and it does it really well. And it's something that a lot of fragrances don't do. They're either fresh or they're heavy. You know what I mean? This kind of toes the line between both, and it does it really well. So, just not my favorite fragrance, but a lot of people like it. And I haven't worn it a lot, honestly, as you can tell, but half a dozen times I have worn it, it's always garnered me a compliment or two. So, it's good for that. Last but not least, if Sauvage wasn't the most obvious one on here, this one has to be. Again, not a big fan of this, but it has started to grow on me, and my little bottle of Invictus, a little mini bottle, and that's more than I'll ever need. Like I keep saying every time I bring it out. Yeah, again, one of those ones I got to give the devil his due. Not my thing, but hey, yeah. I mean, C note, citrus, bay leaf, and broxin. Again, what can I say? It's a modern classic. I mean, just look at all the clones and wannabes and inspired by fragrances this is giving rise to. Hundreds. Every house has got an Invictus style. Usually 3 or 4 Invictus style fragrances. They want that Invictus money, and I don't blame them. I ain't mad at them for that. Fresh, clean, sweet, aromatic, modern, masculine seats. Sweet citrus, slightly watery, salty C notes, fresh aromatic florals and spice on a base of fresh and broxin of woody patchouli. Like I said, it's grown on me. It's still not one of my favorites, but the original Invictus, Invictus Aqua, Invictus Intense, those ones there, the first 4 or 5 Invictuses have all been growing on me lately. And it's okay, but like I said, it's set a bar that everybody's been trying to surpass ever since it came out. And I don't think anybody has. You may disagree, some fragrances might, but I don't think anything, everything that tries to be Invictus just is never quite Invictus. Again, not my favorite fragrance, but I'd be lying if I said every time that, again, the half dozen times I've ever worn Invictus, that it didn't garner me compliments. And it is what it is. It doesn't smell dated, even though it's been out like 15 years now or something like that. It's great still. It's Invictus. You all know it. So yeah, that's also, I could have included, I didn't want to, because I wanted to give it more of a modern flair for the younger guys, straight up to old men like me. But you could include pretty much any barbershop fragrance, any aromatic fougere, those soapy, clean, fresh fragrances. Because despite the fact that some people think they smell old, women of pretty much any age love the smell of a soapy, clean man. So they'd be perfectly fine. I know some people think they're dated, and some of them are. I'm not saying every aromatic fougere or barbershop fragrances aren't dated, but you got your ones like Tom Ford Beau de Jour, that Davidoff, I just bought, Avon Mesmerize is really good. Paco Rabanne Pour Homme is gorgeous. Alfred Sung Pour Homme smells like ivory. Or they both smell like similar to Irish Spring soap. So I mean, they smell clean, fresh, out of the shower type fragrances, and there's nothing. And when I say out of the shower, I don't mean modern. Again, Axe body wash kind of smell. I mean, classic soapy, masculine, green, fresh soap. So yeah. So anyway, guys, you tell me what you think of this list. Do you think I'm sure there's going to be somebody who says something doesn't work for them, and that's fine. I'm just saying this works for quite a big group of the population, right? Like almost all of them, these will work. The most daring one on here, I'd say, is going to be the Bulgari Aqua. Just because of that kind of funky, salty, seaweedy kind of vibe that it has. But even then, it's still, most people are going to like it. So, All right, guys, that's it. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.